I'm only going to be here for a short while, and I'm going to try to overlook things that might make me angry. Um, I do think that maybe people just do that on purpose to get a rise out of somebody. The live that I did yesterday, I deleted. I didn't want to, but I did get a little carried away. I let someone affect me in a bad way. And so I'm going to probably not be saying hi, saying hi, saying hi. I'm here for a purpose. Now, one of my purposes is I've already been on and did a video earlier, but then I got interrupted. I didn't get as far as I wanted to. But I had started reading a book called Added Upon. So I read a little bit out of that. But that was after I had a lot of talking going on. I've said it a lot, about our purpose in life. And I am trying to spread the word so that you guys can investigate for yourselves, okay? And yes, someone really made me upset. Three people made me upset yesterday. And I do say, you people that have that mindset that a woman should be silent, you need to go back into your cave and stay there by yourself because time has passed you by. We are all children of God. And those of us who have knowledge, we're supposed to share it. Especially, I'm talking about the knowledge of God and your purpose in life. And to give you hope that this life is not for naught. It has a purpose. Well, I guess part of it is putting up with people like I did yesterday. I just didn't put up with them so well. I am a child of God and He loves me. And it's not just He. I made the statement yesterday, who is God? God is man and woman together that create that family. And man didn't create all of us by himself. He loves his woman, as some of us might call her. She's our mother. But he wants us to respect her. That's why he never mentions her. But she's there. Thank you, Amy. I said I wasn't going to pay attention. Anyway, I did a video earlier. I started reading out of, it would be my 5th part out of that book called Added Upon. But then I got interrupted. And the book is, I haven't read it. My grandma gave it to me years and years and years ago. Thank you, Yamar and Jean and Amy. Calm down. Yes, I did. I have calmed down after yesterday. I deleted that live. I just took it away, which got rid of, views and likes, and hopefully it didn't get rid of the subscribers. But I said a bad word to somebody that was being really mean and rude. Hi, Riker. Well, you were telling someone else to calm down. Thank you, Jen Stark. You guys, if you're here, I know you're just happening to be here because I didn't announce that I was coming. But, if you want me to say hi to you, please give me your name. Make it easier on my brain, and that rhymes. But as I'm trying to say hi and stuff, and I'm trying to read these handles, and it gives my head a problem. Hello, Cartoon Cook. I'm good. I'm good. And I've already done a video, and I can't just read. So that video that says added upon part 5, the first part of it is me talking probably about God and the creation and who we are, blah, 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 as some people would think. You know, one person quoted the scriptures and it basically was telling me to be quiet, be silent, because you're a woman. And I say, go back to that cave that you came out of, because this world has changed since the Stone Ages. There are cultures out there that believe the woman has no say-so in anything, and she's there for his servant. You wouldn't want to be coming to America if that's really what you think, because this is the land of the free, supposedly. But the point I was trying to say is, those of us who know things about God have a responsibility to try and share it. Now, I don't say go out there on the street corner and preach, but if the opportunity arises that someone is asking you questions and you have the answers, you don't hold it back. You let them know. And women are very important people. We're all important in the scheme of things. So anyway, love to all of you. Yamar, oh. Hello, miss. How are you? Okay, let me go on. Hi, Charlotte. And Amy. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jean. Or Jen, however you say your name. It is sad. Our animals don't live very long. And sometimes there's tragic accidents and things. Just be grateful they were in your life and they gave you joy. Hopefully they gave you joy. Hi, Chris. Charlotte. I kind of got that from the beginning of your handle. I could read your name. Some people have all these different symbols and and then they just doing letter that don't go together. That rhyme too. I love to rhyme. Big Mac. I don't know what those letters stand for. Okay. That person must have known the one with the kitty. I hope that people did. The person, Cartoon Cook, I know you didn't come until almost the end of my video. Hopefully you did get something from it. But as I said, I was influenced, and I said some bad words to someone. And I decided that maybe I should just go ahead and delete that live, so I did. And I will try not to let certain people influence me to stop what I'm doing. But, sometimes I have to watch out because I am only human. And like I have tried to say, yes, I am meek and mild. But just like Jesus Christ, he's meek and mild, but guess what? He's the God of this earth. He is the great Jehovah. He has wrath in him, and so do I. And I experienced it yesterday. I don't want to bring that out. Okay, let me just see if I agree with you. I have a feeling you're wrong, person, and especially now. Those people who are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are calling on the women to help with the leadership. And also because there's going to be so many people joining the church. And why do you think they're joining the church? For knowledge, for information, to be baptized so that they can enter the celestial kingdom. It's going to take all of us sharing the gospel. And we do have a say-so, my friend. Okay, let me go back up here. Hello, Jake. I don't understand that, so I'm not going to worry about that. Just don't give me a headache. I am trying to figure that out. What are you doing today? Okay, are you claiming to be Lucifer? Official Lucifer. Thank you for the compliment. However, I think I would be changing my name. No, I wasn't at Woodstock. I was too young. Plus, I lived clean across the United States because I believe Woodstock was in New York, wasn't it? I'm not trying to scold you. I scold the people who are mean to me. And then I'm just trying to share that all of us are children of God. And when you look at that, it makes us great. And there's so many people who think that they are nothing when they are something great, something, I can't talk, something marvelous to behold. Okay. Happy birthday, Gabe Horn. 40 is a good age. Good age. I don't know what MLK means. I don't know what that means. What does itching ears mean? I know if your palm itches, you're supposed to be getting some money. I don't know where you're getting your scriptures, but that's pretty good. What's the word guile mean? I know that Satan beguiled Eve, so he tempted her. Hello from Massachusetts. Hello, Kathleen. Hello, Audrey, Kathleen, Julian, Audrey, who says amen. Julian says amen. Are you guys saying amen to me or that other guy? All right, please don't be hurting my brain. You know what? It depends. It depends on, I love marijuana. And it was good for me. It was good for my brain. It was good to give me peace and understanding. It calmed me down when some people stir me up. But, you know, I don't know how it affects other people. I just know how it affected me. Okay? And I do know that the extraction of the marijuana plant is good medicine. And it does bring you, I burp a lot, I'm sorry. I don't always have my right words, but if you're in a lot of pain with arthritis or rheumatism or other things, that extract, my medicine that I developed, kills pain. I wish I would have been around for Woodstock, but I wasn't. I was just entering high school and I was in Utah. Junior, hi Junior. Okay, I'm gonna have to just pass that. Just because my head doesn't want to read all that stuff. I'm talking about the guy that's putting out scriptures there. The one that remains nameless. Okay. J-O, hello. Yes. That's another way to spell Lou. Tiffany, you can ask me a question. I love my bud, babe. Just going without right now because I'm trying to get where I can get a job. And I think that's so wrong. But still, fact remains, I'm in a place where I need to go without so that I can test clean, so that I can get a job. I think it's mean. I don't like that it's called the devil's lettuce either. I mean, I know it is, but it doesn't seem to me that it should be. My favorite color is blue. And all shades of, like blue and green mixed together, and blue and red mixed together, because that gives you purple as purple colors, and blue green gives you a marine or aqua. I love all those colors, but royal blue is the first one that comes to mind. I like royal blue. Yes. I don't have a lot of necklaces. I need to get some. There was once upon a time I used to have my favorites that I wore, and I don't now. But I do like jewelry. I just don't have a lot of it. Okay, now I will talk. I thought maybe I might would read a little teeny bit to you guys out of the book of Moses, which is in the Pearl of Great Price. And I've told you about an app that you can get for free that has all these scriptures, and they'll read it to you. I mean, what a marvelous thing. But in the Pearl of Great Price is the book of Moses. And this is the first chapter, and it's going to give you a synopsis. God reveals himself to Moses. Moses is transfigured. He is confronted by Satan. Moses sees many inhabited worlds. Worlds without number were created by the Son. God's work and glory is to bring to pass the immortality and eternal life of man. Okay, I wonder how long this chapter is. My goodness, 42 verses. So I said a mouthful just with that synopsis. And it is in the Pearl of Great Price, which you will find on that app. Thank you, Pixie. You know what? I don't know if I have a favorite animal. And then would that be your favorite animal that can be a pet, or your favorite animal that you can look at? You know, I don't have a favorite. Once upon a time, I had a lot of cats. and I found it interesting. It was like watching a herd of wildcats, take care of their babies, how they talk to them, love them, clean them. So like I said, I like both dogs and cats, but not together because that can cause a problem. Because there is that food chain thing. Yeah, I started with two, actually, I started with one cat, and I found that that cat was always waiting to attack me from a corner. He'd come out and grab my leg or something. It was a she. So I ended up getting her a companion, but that companion was a girl. So I had two girl cats, and I didn't go get them fixed. So what happens? They had babies. Both of them had babies. And then I had those babies grow up. So I ended up with 22 cats. That's way too many. You need to get your pets fixed, okay? So it doesn't get out of control. But I did enjoy my cats. And I might enjoy cats more than dogs. I don't know. But I do like the fact that a dog will protect you. So let's see. Northeast India. Well, hello. Let's see what's set up here. Pixie, why are you saying dang? Because I had 22 cats. Yeah, it was a mess. They lived in and out of the house. They didn't just stay in the house because that would have been really horrid, as far as the odor would go. Yeah, my gosh, is right. See, so I told you. That was years ago. My daughter was 14 at the time. It is a lot of cats. It is, and really, you shouldn't have that many animals. But at least two, and get them fixed. That way, when they're attacking and playing, they're playing with each other instead of your leg. And I found my cats climbing up my body or landing on my shoulder or my head. Anyway. Hi, Mitch. I don't know that name, but hi. At first I thought it was Christian, but it's a KJS strain. KJ strain run. Oh, man. You didn't need to tell me that. Thank you, Dean. Well, I certainly don't like it. But like I said, it goes back to culture. Different places in the world have different beliefs and things, and maybe that's their meat. They went in and out. They didn't stay in the house, okay? But 22 cats, yeah, that would about cover your whole house. And I had a little house. That was a long time ago. Hi, Elena. I see now, but I didn't see it from your handle. No, in this house we have two cats, and I hope that they're fixed. One's a boy, and one's a girl, and we have a dog. Oh, well, hello, Dixon. Mayaz, good luck with your surgery. I've had surgery before. Sometimes the recovery is a little hard. All right, Pixie. You're definitely diverse, right? You have a lot of pets. Just hopefully you don't have problems. In other words, dogs like to eat cats, and cats like to eat rats. the food chain, you know. I've never had a snake, don't want a snake. Hi, Jennifer. And bats. Really? Where do you live that you have bats? I have some land in Colorado. We had a barn. And over there, there's some owls. You know, they're not my pets, but they're on my property. They're in the top of that barn. And one day, a white one come flying out. I'm going, wow, Harry Potter must be coming. But anyway, they were just living in the loft, and they had a way to get in and out. They just would fly in and out of the barn. Where, in Colorado? Colorado's a good place. Um, excuse me. When I had my property, I did have, I think I did have ducks. I did. I had ducks, and I had geese, and I had chickens and goats and cows and dogs. No cats. My experience in the past was that the dogs are going to eat the cats, especially if they're bigger dogs, larger dogs. I had German Shepherds. Yes, Colorado. Colorado is a very good place, especially for the laws. Hopefully the rest of the world will catch up, but when? When will they catch up? You know, I've never had birds as a pet, but sure. I don't know what that means, so I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, so I read to you the synopsis. Thank you. Just a chill guy. My head does want to hurt. All right, so I'm going to read a couple, 3 verses from this chapter 1 of Moses. The words of God, which he spake unto Moses at a time when Moses was caught up into an exceedingly high mountain. And he saw God face to face, and he talked with him, and the glory of God was upon Moses. Therefore Moses could endure his presence. And God spake unto Moses, saying, Behold, I am the Lord God Almighty, and endless is my name, and I am without beginning of days or end of years, and is not this endless? Okay, that's 3 verses. Okay, let me see what's going on here. I'm 71. Thank you, Reynold. Lynn. But like I said, I can't try to do that. My head's wanting to hurt just because. Okay, so verse 4, And behold, thou art my son, wherefore look, and I will show thee the workmanship of mine hands, but not all. For my works are without end, and also my words, for they never cease. Wherefore no man can behold all my works, except he behold all my glory. And no man can behold all my glory, and afterwards remain in the flesh on the earth. And I have a work for thee, Moses, my son, and thou art and thou art in the similitude of mine only begotten, and mine only begotten is and shall be the Savior, for he is full of grace and truth. But there is no God beside me, and all things are present with me, for I know them all. Okay, so that was the end of 6. Let's see where we got to. Do, 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 do. I'm glad. I'm glad you're a Christian. Give me a name that I can say easily. A wonky. I don't understand. It is sad, but the Christians are persecuted, and it's foretold that they will be. Your, my business card is really an introduction card to this channel, and it does say that I stand with and for Jesus Christ. So, yes, battles to be won. Well, you're lucky that your continent is a Christian continent. That would be Georgie. Christ is King. King of Kings, Lord of Lords. He is everything. I didn't know you were gone, Cartoon Cook. But you're the one who called me here yesterday, and then you weren't here. Sir X, hi. All right, so I made it through 6. I'm going to continue on. And now behold, this one thing I show unto thee, Moses, my son, for thou art in the world, and now I show it unto thee. And it came to pass that Moses looked and beheld the world upon which he was created. And Moses beheld the world and the ends thereof, and all the children of men which are and which were created. Of the same he greatly marveled and wondered. And the presence of God withdrew from Moses, that his glory was not upon Moses, and Moses was left unto himself. And as he was left unto himself, he fell unto the earth. Okay, I'll stop there. Do, 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 do. It is true. It is so true. And war is bringing that on, because wherever there's war, they're fleeing, and they have to have somewhere to go. That's funny. Hi, Georgie. Yes, I'm American. Thank you, JK. I am trying to do his will. Happy birthday, Kylie. How old are you today? 15. Well, I don't know that I want to be 15 again, but I would like to be young again. But I'm going to have to wait until Resurrection Day, and then I will become my perfect self. Yes, congratulations on her 15th birthday. And thank you for the blessing, Reynolds. Oh, I'm not exactly sure where Liverpool is, but I know the Beatles came from around there, right? Love the Beatles. Who are you talking to? The guy that, or the girl that's 15? Okay. Do, 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 do. In England, I'm from England. And greetings to Liverpool, yes. My ancestry goes back to England, but I'm from America. Yes, THC is a medicine, both psychological and physical. Thank you. Is that Amos or something like that? Yeah, because the 13 colonies, we all came from somewhere, didn't we? I got rid of the person that said that. I guess I didn't really get rid of them, but I hid their comments because I don't like comments like that. Yeah, I'm from North Carolina, and I believe they are from the 13 colonies. Oh, well, thank you for calling it a class. I had a friend before on my channel that she says, what was it she said? Basically, she was calling it a show. She would be there for the show. I haven't heard from her in a very long time. I'm afraid something happened to her. I do. I probably should put some classes together. I have not been paying close attention to what is going on, but I believe that Trump is a very smart man, and I believe that our country needs him. Things are not easy, and they're definitely not easy when you are the leader, but there's a lot of things that come into play. Well, listen, Cartoon Cook, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I may not be doing lives anymore. I got on here to do lives for a reason, and that was to try to draw attention to my channel. On my channel, there's more than 1,300 videos, and a lot of it is classes, as per se. It's just me talking, but sharing my knowledge. And then there's some about quilting, and there's some about the marijuana medicine, and there's some about different things. Who is Ricky? They're expensive here too. Way crazy expensive. I haven't made a permanent decision on that, but my experience yesterday kind of led me to that thought pattern. It's good to talk to you people, but when there's haters on here and people that are belligerent and rude, I don't need that. And I don't think it is of good worth. So, yesterday I was influenced enough that I said some bad words on here. I definitely had some hate coming my way, and it made me not feel very good. And I said something I shouldn't have said. So I deleted that whole live, even though there were good things there. Well, what I have seen is that I can remove not really removing them, but you can't see their comments. So that's what I've been doing. But still, I spend way too much time doing that when I could just be doing a video. And then you guys could just check on my videos and get stuff without those comments. Well, I was born in 54, so how old would I have been in the 90s? I was very nice looking when I was younger. And there are some pictures in my post. You have to scroll around to get to them. Well, so far, I just haven't wanted to hand over the reins, but then I didn't see what was coming. I don't know where that is, so I guess I did not. I live in America. I live in Pennsylvania. So I'm getting close to the East Coast. I mean, the ocean probably is an hour and a half, 2 hours away. Not sure. I was born in North Carolina, 80 miles from the coast, but I was living in Colorado in the middle, Kansas in the middle of the United States, Colorado just a little bit further over, but I lived in Washington State. Washington State's beautiful, but you know, when they cut down the trees and put in pavement and houses and stuff, then it's like everywhere else. Where are my trees? I don't have a particular time that I stream, but this is an easier one in the afternoon, the early afternoon here. And I'm open to suggestions. And like I said, I might not stream anymore. Now, Washington State has had a lot of their trees removed. The logging business, you know, we use wood for a lot of things, and they take them trees, build houses. Toilet paper's made from trees. Paper towels, all paper products are made from trees. However, they could be made from marijuana. I would call me a hippie as long as it's a good connotation. I am a peace child, okay? Flower power. That would be good because I don't always see that I've had a comment, but that's a good idea. And then I can just talk to you through that. Other people will be able to read your comment and they'll be able to read my return, I think. Yes. See, like I said, I was born in 54. So 64, I was 10 years old. But some of the best music came from the late 60s and the early 70s. I don't know what that means, keeper. I know what keeper means. I don't know. Like I said, I have a boyfriend. He wouldn't like that. I tell you what, on this channel, it does give my email. So if you wanted to write me where other people wouldn't see it, you can send me an email. But as to Skyping and personal stuff, I don't think so. Not unless things change. You sure you saw the right things? But I was usually high. What does that mean? A Steam Deck. I don't understand. I understand the name Kevin. And I am also hot. And summer hasn't even hit yet. Hot flashes type of deal. Need to get off of this treatment stuff where they take my hormones away. That gives you hot flashes. Thank you. Give me your name, child. Huh. Well, I'm not into video games. That's totally foreign to me. You know, the kids know all about that stuff. All right. I'll do a Google search and see. Hi, Kevin. My grandson, I have a grandson named Kevin. Okay. Well, you're a young thing. That's a good age. You're not even out of your teens yet. Okay, where did I end? I think I was about to do verse 10. Okay, remember what I was reading. So Moses and God have been chatting face to face. Oh. Oh, really? So basically, it is a way to play video games. Oh, okay. Good night. Exams. I have exams, but they're not the kind that you guys are talking about. I have 4 doctor appointments this month, one of them being a PET scan. It's not really a doctor appointment, it is a scan. And then I have another appointment that is a treatment, which means shots. And I have to see an eye specialist to see how the pressure is in my eyes because I have a problem. So, all kinds of things to attend to. But you guys have it nice. I didn't say my words right. Just have a great day. And hopefully you can sleep so you can get up and have a good exam. I have a hard time going to sleep. So I need to do better. Much, much better. Okay, I'm going to go back to this now. It says, and it came to pass that it was for the space of many hours before Moses did again receive his natural strength like unto man. And he said unto himself, now for this cause I know that man is nothing, which thing never had supposed, which thing I never had supposed. But now mine own eyes have beheld God, but not my natural, but my spiritual eyes. For my natural eyes could not have beheld, for I should have withered and died in his presence. But his glory was upon me, and I beheld his face, for I was transfigured before him. And it came to pass that when Moses had said these words, behold, Satan came tempting him, saying, Moses, son of man, worship me. And it came to pass that Moses looked upon Satan and said, who art thou? For behold, I am a son of God, in the similitude of his only begotten, And where is thy glory, that I should worship thee? For behold, I could not look upon God, except his glory should come upon me, and I were transfigured before him. But I can look upon thee and the natural man. Is it not so? Surely. Blessed be the name of my God, for his Spirit hath not altogether withdrawn from me, or else where is thy glory? For it is darkness unto me, and I can judge between thee and God. For God said unto me, Worship God, for him only shalt thou serve. Get thee hence, Satan, deceive me not. For God said unto me, Thou art after the similitude of mine only begotten. And he also gave me commandments, when he called unto me out of the burning bush, saying, Call upon God in the name of mine only begotten, and worship me. And again Moses said, I will not cease to call upon God. I have other things to inquire of him, for his glory has been upon me. Wherefore I can judge between him and thee. Depart hence, Satan. All right, I'll stop there. Let's go over here and see what's going on. Yes, I did say that. Okay. I don't know how to say that name, hon. But thank you. And hi. You know what, Kevin, how old are you? Did you say how old you were? You know, my daughter thinks she's an atheist too. However, I remember when she got down and out and she called on God. So what I would say is agnostic would be more appropriate word, meaning you don't know what to believe. You just don't believe there is a God, but you do. Okay, well, I understand one part of that name. Okay, Kevin, you're 30, and you're the one who said you're an atheist, right? Okay, I just wanted to know a time frame. Yes, I've heard Yahshua, but I don't know what it is you're saying. Unless that is, I am agnostic. You just didn't put the A in there. I don't know that word. Drippy sausage. Hello. That's a weird name. Better get some paper towels and catch that drip, because that's grease. Ah, I know there's another meaning for that. Thank you. Is that a wonky? See, I need an actual name that I can say. No, I wouldn't call it a bad trip. I've had some experiences. You know, the one that they call what is it? They call it. I had too much, and I was in the couch. And it was so long ago, so I don't really know about that. You should just be careful not to smoke too much. What I do, and I haven't smoked anything since March 20th, but what I do is smoke very little, and when I feel a buzz, I stop. But in the old days, I smoked way too much. But I wouldn't call it a bad trip necessarily. I was talking in the old days, it was always smoking. And then money comes into play for me. It's so expensive. So I have not had a whole lot of it eating it wise. I have had some, but probably not enough to do anything. Okay, edible candies are cool. And there's, what is it they say? What is it? Is it 10 milligrams as a dose? So just be careful. And then I don't know if that fights off cancer or not. I made medicine that does fight off cancer, and I made it strong. But I also showed that in my thing. I put it on my veins, and it goes into my bloodstream. I put it here, and it goes on my veins. Not on my vein, in. You know, and when I was a kid, they used to say, be careful what you put on your skin because it's in your bloodstream. And that, when I was making my medicine, I'm thinking, ah! And then I ran across the word bioavailable, and I'm going, what does that mean? Well, I found out what that means, where you can mix water and oil together, meaning it can get into your bloodstream. Thank you so much for that comment. I just don't know how to. It's Paul. Okay, hi, Paul. Thank you, Kevin. I do believe in respect for other people's beliefs, and I don't want people giving me a bunch of grief about mine. However, it is good to be able to talk about it. You know, there's a few topics of conversation that is so hard to talk about with other people because everybody gets so riled up. Politics is one, religion is one. And then what is it they say in marriage? What are the things that are really hard in marriage? Communication, sex. How are you going to raise the children? What kind of discipline? And I'm telling you, the most important is how you treat each other, you and your spouse, with love and respect. And you need to be able to talk to each other without getting all riled up. That's the right words. My dad used to say, settle down, because I do get excited. Like I said, I was born in 54. I just was not very old in the 60s. And I lived in a family that went to church all the time. They had their thumb on me. I didn't get to go out and do as I pleased. Church was the deal. If I would have been around, I would have been a hippie, but I was too young. But still, the thing is, I believe in peace, flower power. I don't believe in war. Yeah, edible candies are cool, but they can put you to sleep, so be careful what you got. Meaning, you're not doing it to go to sleep, right? Unless you're in pain and you can't get to sleep, then that's a good thing. Hello, Richard. Marijuana has THC in it, okay? And I learned how to extract it from the plant. Rick Simpson oil is an extraction of the marijuana plant. And you get it out with alcohol. And I'm talking about moonshine or Everclear. It's kind of costly. You don't get to smoke your marijuana that way. You soak it up in that stuff, and then you blend it up, and you mulch it up, and then you squeeze it through a cheesecloth, and then you burn off all that alcohol, and what's left is the Rick Simpson oil. You know, once upon a time I did that stuff, acid, but they had the best stuff when it was actually the hippies, okay? When I got a hold of that stuff, it wasn't as strong. It wasn't the same. And I've done shrooms too. I'm not promoting, no. The main thing I'm promoting is God, okay? Part of my channel did promote marijuana, the medicine, and I have made my own. I call it Lou's Magical Brew. It does a lot. It's wonderful. But no, that's not the main thing of my channel. I think that you're meaning that a little bit different way. Aw, Richard. How old are you, Richard? And when did your grandma die? You can call me your grandma. I graduated in 72 also. I got married the first time in 71 though. I went to high school my senior year. I was married. Yeah, I was on the tail end of that. You're right. I was too young to be a hippie. And my parents definitely had control over me and church. Hi. Please give me a name, a wonky. That just don't sound like a good name. And oil. What's the rest of that question, Howard? And hi, a wonky. Hi, Faye Ducky. Huh. What is ditchweed? Hello, Basher. Well, I see that that's not your picture on your little icon. Hippies were from way back when, okay? The Vietnam War, I believe, was in 69, 68, somewhere in there. Well, there were a lot of peace-loving children who did not want their friends to go off to war and didn't believe in war. But I don't know. Timothy Leary, I believe I want to say he's the one who developed acid, Timothy Leary. But anyway, it was just the music back then and what was going on. It was like a movement of the young people. And other people called them hippies, okay? But they were against that war. And that war was, I don't know my right words, but it should have not ever been. And I'm not an expert. I don't know the purpose of that war, but I did hear that it just went on and on and on. The tail end of your name is Basher. Hi. Well, good for you, Basher. Stay away from them. That means you're pure. I mean, your body has never had the influence of drugs. Unless you're talking about going to a doctor and having surgery and stuff like that. That's your name? Wonky? I don't know what UNC is. Thank you, Kevin. What does hippie mean? It's a name that was put on those people that were young, peace-loving, but they were also free-loving, flower power, and they were doing drugs. But they were a peaceable group. Happiness. I have a picture of them. I need to find some pictures, I guess, and put it on my post. Look up what is a hippie. Now, my daughter thinks that a hippie is a dirty, filthy person because they didn't take baths. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Some people are out living on the street today. Maybe they were thrown out of their houses by their parents who didn't understand. Maybe they didn't have the amenities of life, but they were against the war and they were peaceable flower children, and I would have been a part of them. Okay. Well, your mom was born when I was 18. Yeah, I graduated in 72, but I got married in 71. Well, that's wonderful. Did you make those edibles or did you buy them? Me and my ex, we tried our hand at making gummies. We were experimenting, making medicine. And then I took it a step further. He was in such a hurry to get things done. He was passing up some steps. And I'm going, I went to all this trouble, paid for all this, electricity and growing this stuff. And because we grew it. And then we made it into medicine. But he was too much in a hurry. He was overstepping. In other words, he was stepping over some of the steps. So I took it over. I'm going, no, we're going to do it this way. And then my stuff turned out really, 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 really good. Okay. I'm living in a place where it's not legal unless you have a card. And see, I have cancer, so I could go get a medical card, but even then it's going to cost me $200 for the card. And then still you have the situation where if you have it in your bloodstream, you probably can't get a job. So they got you over a barrel with their stupid laws. I understand I can go over to New Jersey and get some, but that's a ways away. And this area is just foreign to me. I don't know my way around. And I know we have the GPS that will help us. 1965 here. Does that mean you graduated in 65? Craftsman. Right, awful. For fun. OGY. Bread. Howard. Oh, well, did you do any good with that? Because here's the thing, in Kansas, they have weed growing everywhere, but it doesn't get you high. So I don't know that the THC is there for the medicine. There's a lot of compounds, I think they said over 200 compounds in the marijuana plant, things that are good for us. Our body has receptors for the cannabinoids that are in marijuana. It is for our good. But I do know that they had this weed growing all over the place in Kansas, and it just wouldn't get you high. I don't know what that means, the Eagles, unless that was your school mascot or something. Oh, I just didn't know there were hippies today. I thought that was a thing from way back when. Hi, Allison, and thank you for the comment. You know, I just am talking to the people and whatever comes up, but basically, Jesus Christ is the deal, okay? Your purpose in life, where to go find some valuable mysteries of God, which is in the Book of Mormon. There are things that you will learn if you delve into those scriptures. And I have read a bunch on my channel. You could put on there in the little search bar thing, you put on Mormon, Mormon, read by Lou, Lou, on Lou's Touch. Lou's Touch is Lou apostrophe S space TOUCH. That's possessive. Lou's Touch. And I'm trying to touch your spirit, your soul, trying to give you hope and light and a purpose in your life, and for you to know that there's more coming after this life. You're not going to lay down in that ground, where they say rest in peace. That's not happening. Your body's going to be in that ground, but your spirit's going back to that God who gave you life. And not only the God who gave you life, but he is your father. And I think your mother might be there too. I don't know. But I know that they love us. So it's not a scary thing. I just do a lot of talking. You know what, Howard? It's legal in places, but all of it has still got regulations, rules and regulations that you can get in trouble over. But thank God that it is legal to the part where it is. There are places like where I'm at right now that it is not legal unless you go and you spend the money and you get a medical card, and you have to have a reason, right? Anyway, I think it should be free. I think it should be free of regulation. I think you should be able to grow your own. And I think you should be able to sell some of it to others who can't grow their own. And then that money you can use to pay your bills and put some food on the table. You know what I'm saying? We could all live a better life. And those who have the money from a really great job can go and buy it from a dispensary. But it should be free of regulation. And those who do the work and grow it should be allowed to sell it. That's my opinion. Yes, thank God it's where it's at, but then you've got to move to a state where it is legal. He was still young. In 1971, he was still young for being in that hippie field. Yes, I was raised in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I was raised by parents who were into them, you know, male, female children, and they made sure their children went to church. We all went to church together, and my parents stayed together. I didn't live in a divorced, broken up home. There's so many different types of homes that people are raised in. So, yes, I'm very blessed. Thank you very much, Pixie. then yeah, I would call you a hippie, because that is the truth about it. Let me go back to where you were. Yes. Nature, peace, and love. I don't know about the Ford cars. Wow. Wow. Well, Cartoon Cook, you're a lucky fella. That would be really great. Yes, I do have cancer, but I'm fighting it and I'm doing good. I read your question. You know, there's so many things to have advice about. So, what do you mean? Specify. My advice to all of you, every one of you, no matter your age, if you are not already a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I say to you, find them, investigate, and you can investigate online, just like that app that I've been trying to get everybody to get. That is from my church, but it has the Old Testament. It has the New Testament. It has the Book of Mormon, which is another testament of Jesus Christ. Then it's got also the Doctrine and Covenants, which is a book of revelation given through to Joseph Smith and the organizing of the church. It's got a lot of information there. And then you've got the Pearl of Great Price, which is what I've been reading on here, the Book of Moses, and Abraham is in the Pearl of Great Price. And thank you so much for the hearts. But that is my advice. Find out what your purpose is in this life, and that's the best way to find it. And what I did, I haven't been there yet, but what I did was I went on my device, Google or whatever, I think mine is Safari, and I said, where's the closest Latter-day Saint church to me? Where is the closest Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Where is the closest Mormon church? All these things will get you to a church that's close to you, where you can go and partake and see for yourself what's going on and learn, because they study the scriptures also. You know, they have one meeting called a sacrament meeting, and that is very spiritual. You'll feel the spirit, but you have the opportunity of taking the sacrament. So I said basically what it was the other day, but maybe it was on something I deleted. When you go to church, say you wanted to go to church just to explore, experience a meeting, you're going to go and there's a room with pews and you sit and there is a prayer. It's an opening prayer, an opening song, and then there is another song that is called the sacrament song. And those words kind of prepare you for what you're about to do if you're going to partake of the sacrament. And then there are prayers read over the bread, and it's passed around, and everyone has a chance to partake. And then there is a prayer said over the water, and it is passed around for everyone to partake of. And then there are talks that are given by people that have already been chosen and given a topic to talk on. And they create their own talks and they stand up in front of the congregation. And it could be a family where it be their children and then the mother and father. They all have a little bit of time to talk. And then there will be a closing song and a closing prayer. And the one I was going to with my Papa Bear, they would always have the talks kind of broken up by a musical number in the middle. But I always felt the Spirit. And those of you who can't hear, they have hearing aids. They have hearing aids so you can hear the speakers. But it's just a wonderful service. And then after that, they break off into classes. And they're changing that. I knew they were going to do some changes because the church is fixing to grow exponentially. And to be able to take care of the masses, things are going to have to be reorganized a little bit. But so the sacrament meeting used to be, and still is for a little bit longer, an hour and 10 minutes. It's going to be changed to just an hour. And then the classes, we were breaking off into classes, but now they were doing an alternating thing where the priesthood would meet every other week and the Relief Society would meet every other week, the same time as the priesthood. And the Sunday school class, so they were an hour long, but now they're going to be a half hour long, and they're going to continue. They're going to have them all. Instead of alternating, they'll have the same time frame every week for the Relief Society, the priesthood, the children. It's going to be a very good thing. So I'm glad to see that. And they're trying to get ready because there is going to be a big influx of people. And in order to take care of everybody, there has to be a little bit of different organization. And it's gearing up also for us to do a lot of study at home. So you have a manual and you have the scriptures and what they're going to talk about in the manual in the class. And during the week with your family, you can read those scriptures and prepare yourself so that you've already got that information in your head and you don't need to spend so much time discussing it all. It's going to be really great, actually. And I love all the hearts. And another thing, people, is this is going on all over the world. Everyone that goes to church on Sunday, no matter what ward they're in or where they are in the world, is studying the same thing. It's marvelous. It's really, really, really great. Okay, let's see what they're saying. So that was my advice to your 27-year-old and to everyone. Find the church. Really investigate for yourself. Learn. Join the church. Be baptized. Receive the Holy Ghost. Participate with these people, and you will find your mate. Someone of a like mind. Someone who is doing the same thing you're doing. And they do have activities and things. You're not just there in church all the time, but they have activities for you to go and do together so you can learn about each other, form relationships. Say, I like her. Yeah, I can see myself married to her. Does she like you? And stuff like that, And you don't be participating in sexual activity. That's going to bring you away. It's going to distract you from your purpose. Once you find your mate and you get married, then you have that. And then you grow your family and you take care of them. But also you can go into the temple and be married for time and all eternity. Not just until death do you part. The sealing power is here on the earth. And it's for everybody, but you have to achieve it. You don't just get given it. So anyway, I will pass you by now. I think I gave you lots of advice. Oh, wow, it's 2:30 there, Kevin. I'm sorry. Good night. Or good morning. I have a hard time going to bed. It's usually 2 or 2:30 before I get into that sleep mode. Mohammed, I am 71. and I'm living in Pennsylvania. You know, when people ask me where I'm from, I say heaven. We're all from heaven. Okay. But right now, I'm on the East Coast of America. I don't know what that means, honey. Adley in the Bible? I don't know what that means. Can you explain a little better? Well, I'm glad. Where are you from, Mohammed? I see that you said you're a Muslim and you love Jesus. That's great that you love Jesus. I don't. I'm sorry. And that says pirate. I thought it said private at first. Do you got any pirate memory games suitable for, no, I that's not even in my repertoire. I don't know how to say that word either. You know, that really is a sad thing. I'm sorry, Batman. So, so sorry. But see, the thing is, like I've tried to explain before, we can't blame God for what happens down here. They gave us the opportunity, and Jesus did come and give his life for your sins, and to give you the opportunity to be resurrected and to go back to heaven and to see your mother again. I'm so sorry that she was taken from you. So, so sorry. Yes, I know that. Maxwell Silverhammer came down upon his head. I love that movie. Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I don't know how to answer that. My favorite story from the Bible. I don't have one. And when you say the Bible, I like the New Testament. And in the New Testament, there's so many great stories, like Lazarus being raised from the dead, and Jesus Christ walking on the water. All the miracles that he did, the healing of the sick, the cleansing of the leper. But all in all, Jesus Christ was so wonderful. And I've got chill bumps. Okay, so you helped because I was hot. And now I'm cold. Um, there's just so many. I don't really have a favorite, I think. I would say the whole New Testament is my favorite. You know, some of it is terrible. Like when Jesus was 2 years old, I believe they were told to leave. And Herod was so worried about this king, Jesus, that he had all the baby boys killed 2 years and under. That is a horrible story. But Jesus was sent somewhere else. His family was sent somewhere else, and I'm not exactly sure where. And then there was a time when Jesus was 12 years old, and his family couldn't find him. His mother and father couldn't find him. And he was in the temple. He was teaching. Okay, I can't say the temple. I think it was probably a synagogue, but he was teaching all the older men. the scriptures, and he was just 12. And then he went out, and his mother was frantic trying to find him and stuff. And he says, I don't know the exact words, but he says he was, what's the right words? He was about his father's business. He was teaching the scriptures, but that's what he said to her. Why would you be worried about me? Wouldn't you know where I would be? And that I am about my father's business. I mean, she knew who he was, but she didn't know it was time yet. And then there was the first miracle where he turned the water into wine at that wedding. If you guys haven't watched The Chosen, that would be a good thing. The Chosen is excellent. And the stories are true. They're not made up. Mary Magdalene, I believe, had 7 devils in her. They were cast out. She was from a family of wealth. Anyway, what are some other stories? The feeding of the 5,000. In other words, he was teaching, and there were over 5,000, and I believe that was the men, not counting the women and children. And they had been listening to him, and they were hungry. And there was a young boy that had, I don't know the exact number, fishes. He might have had 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread, or 2 loaves of bread and 5 fishes, or something. Anyway, they gathered up, I want to say 12 baskets, which would be the 12 apostles, a basket for each. And Jesus Christ asked this boy if he could have his fishes and his bread. He blessed it, and he broke it, and he filled up these baskets with food, and it was spread out everywhere, and the food kept growing. Everyone had more than enough, and there was still a lot of food left over. So that was a miracle. And I think he did that more than once. I'm just saying, all the way through the New Testament are miracles. And his sermons, the words and what they meant. He talked in parables people didn't understand. Some of them might have. But he took his apostles and told them what he meant, what each thing that he said meant. And then you had to put it together. It's kind of like these scriptures. They're like a riddle sometimes. You don't just get it. You need to pray for inspiration. You need to pray for revelation. And we can all have that as we read the scriptures. He will pour his spirit out upon us to where we understand. We just have to do it. And pray for help. Okay. Now I'm going to have these stains in my glasses. So, good question, girl. Or if you were a boy, I'm sorry. Do, 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 do. I be trying, guys. I do. I be trying. Okay, let's see what's going on. That was Pixie. I assume you're a girl. It says Pixie Sisters. Astrid. I don't understand that. Exactly. I will say that about being a child of God once you accept Him. Hi, Lexi. Excuse me. Well, whoops. God bless her. And I'm glad that you knew her. Hi, Lexi. I don't have one. I'm not into that. NBA, is that basketball? I'm just not into sports. I was soured on sports years ago, and it's just not my bag. I could say my first husband, the only time he was ever excited was at a football game. I mean, he would jump off that couch yelling. He was definitely into football, but I wasn't. I just thought it was ridiculous. Oh, the cancer. It's breast cancer, stage 4. It went into my bones, but I'm doing well. I'm taking ivermectin, which is a wormer. I also am doing hormone therapy, and I don't like it. It's what's causing all these dadgum wrinkles, besides the fact that I'm older. Ivermectin, can you see that? See, when I look at that, it looks backwards. But maybe when I look at the video, it'll look like it's straight on there. I first of all, I took a paste. I'm going to go get it. Oh. This is a horse wormer, okay? Ivermectin. And it comes in a syringe, and they say it's a paste, but it's really a gel. This tube, this part here has the medicine in it, the wormer. And then this right here, you can twist this where these grooves are so you can loosen it up. Then you can squish enough out, and then you put this, what you would do here, let me show you. So you can twist that off, and then I could take and say, okay, that's how much I want. And you can twist this on where it'll stay put. The problem is I've already got this kind of sucked in there, so I'd have to do it a lot further. See, there's I'll push it. I'll do it slowly so you can see that it's a gel. And I'm going to pull this back, and it'll suck it back in. But anyway, you figure out what your dose is, and what I did was I divided the amount up into about 8 doses. This will do a 1,250-pound horse if you give them the whole syringe. And when you begin, this syringe is sticking way out here because I've already taken some of it. Okay, so I did this to begin with. I've taken 2 full tubes and then half of this one. But then my cousin told me about this liquid injectable, which when you're giving it to animals, you would inject it in their neck. But what she does and what I am doing is I pull out a milliliter in this syringe. Let's see, right there where it says 1. So from up here down to the 1, I suck that much in here, and then I put it in my coffee. She says she puts it in her soda pop or her coffee or whatever she's drinking. And she'll do that when she is, and here, I'll show you this part too. See the needle? And this is a liquid. Well, this is how much I've taken. But you just turn it upside down and draw out a mill in this syringe, and then you pull the syringe out and put it in your coffee and drink it. And I really think that it has helped a lot. I can't tell you to just go do that and guarantee anything, but I sure as heck would. I mean, still am taking the hormone therapy, where it's starving my cancer of the hormones. And my doctor, this was the one in Kennewick, I finally got up the courage to ask her, okay, how much time do you think I have? What can I expect, And she told me that as long as I don't miss my treatments, I could live for years. Well, she didn't say what that meant. But my numbers were up to like 1,400, and that's a cancer marker number, a tumor marker number. And see, I don't know, because these days they're telling me there's 2 numbers. And what I was told back then was just the number 1,400. And then it went down to 1,300 and 1,200 and so on. Well, I'm down to 125 and 138. So it's 2 different numbers, but it's way lower. And the last I heard, I only had one little piece of cancer, which is in my pectoral muscle. So I'm doing really well. I just do not like all these wrinkles, and that's what this hormone therapy has done. I mean, yes, my age will give me wrinkles, but a year ago I didn't have near the wrinkles. Or not that I remember. I just think they're a lot worse. And taking your female hormones away from you puts you into hot flashes and takes the plumpness out of your skin. So here before long, I might stop that hormone therapy and just stick with my ivermectin. And I have reasons. I have reasons for taking the ivermectin, and I do think it's helped a lot. I can't put all the credit onto ivermectin, but I bet you it's got a lot to do with it. That and the hormone therapy. And then when I first started in Kennewick, the doctor that I had there, I told her, I says, can't we just take it for a little while and get it under control? Where the numbers were so high. And she said, yes. She was excited about that, but I just haven't stopped. But I do think I need to, because, whatever it's doing to my face is doing to the inside of my body too. It's drying me up. So there's a lot of stories that go with that. I asked my doctors for ivermectin and they wouldn't give it to me. And this last doctor, where I'm at now, when I asked her, she said, you get heartworm and I'll give you a prescription. I didn't think that was very funny at all. But I had already went to the feed store, that which you get for animals, and started taking it. Okay? Because I couldn't get a prescription. I went to Walmart and talked to the pharmacist. I wanted to know if I could get some ivermectin. He said, do you have a prescription? I said, no. And he says, well, then you can't. Okay? And so then I asked my doctor up in Puyallup, I said, what do you think about ivermectin? She says, I don't have anything bad to say about it at all, but I cannot give you a prescription for it. I'm a cancer doctor. So cancer doctors, this is their protocol. Establish that you have cancer, they're going to do surgery, they're going to put you on chemo and then radiation. Excuse me, I refused chemo and radiation. I could not do it. I could not make myself do it. Not something that's going to burn my skin if it touches it. I'm not putting it inside my body to go through everything, to go through your brain, your eyes, your every organ. And that doctor says, well, we put it way down in deep where it won't bother you. I'm sorry. I couldn't do it. So anyway, there's a couple other stories that go with the wormer. 20 years ago, I thought I had cancer. I had a cancer scare. but it turned out to be just menopausal stuff. And the point is, I called my grandma Smith, my dad's mother. She was into vitamins and stuff, and she knew a guy and gave me his phone number. Well, he was 70 years old and had been fighting cancer since he was 20. And his answer was to detox, do a colon cleanse, and a strong one, do a colon cleanse, detox, and kill parasites. Okay, well, I did what he said. And I did see parasites in the toilet. But I didn't have cancer. It's just the fact that we do have parasites. And then that was 20 years ago, okay? And then within the last 2 years, I saw a veterinarian, his video on YouTube. And what he said was he was using this ivermectin to treat dogs for worms. But he said, coincidentally, these dogs had cancer, and their cancer went away. So those two pieces of information, plus things I'd heard from other people, I said, okay, what have I got to lose? Plus it said, in 1996, the FDA approved it for human consumption. But see, in America, you can't hardly get a prescription for it. Well, I had a live, and I had a person come on named David, who is a Canadian, 20 years old, has leukemia. And he was also just about to go take his endowment out in the temple and go on a mission. But his doctor in Canada gave him a prescription for ivermectin. It was part of his regimen. So it's America that's not letting us have it. And then also there's another wormer called fenbendazole that my cousin raised Shar-Peis. And she had a female Shar-Pei that had, and I think it's still in my post if you go looking through it and you see a dog with this pink-red looking thing coming out of its chest, and then later it's got this big old thing. I mean big. Looked like maybe a cauliflower, but it was red. It was cancer, okay? Well, she gave that protocol of fenbendazole and turmeric, whichever, for 30 days in a row, and that growth that was so big shriveled up, and they were able to cut it off. And then she gave me a picture of that same dog, 12 years old, running around like a 2-year-old, and also had puppies. So, I mean, all things considered, I had already bought the ivermectin from the feed store, from Tractor Supply. And this bottle that I showed you has 250 mils in it, okay? They also have a bottle that has 50 mils in it. Well, the 50 mils cost $50, which is pretty cheap. But for $35 more, I got 200 extra mils. So I went ahead and got the bigger bottle. So I had spent $85 on ivermectin, and I didn't have the money to go and buy the fenbendazole. But they're both wormers, okay? Get rid of the parasites. Remember the old man. First time diagnosed with cancer, he was 20 years old. And when I talked to him, he was 70. So, I mean, all these things, I don't have anything to lose. And right now, I don't know what stage cancer I would be in because there's hardly any cancer there, active cancer. So I have a lot to learn. I'm going to be having a PET scan this month now that we're in April. But towards the end of the month, I will have a PET scan. And what it will show is where the cancer is. But my numbers are down. And I feel good. And in the interim of things, I had cancer everywhere. I had cancer across my skull. I had cancer. They took my breast. They took some lymph nodes. There was one guy called it a mass, but then the other doctor said, no, that's lymph nodes. down in here, but it was like a 2-inch mass between my lungs and my heart cavity. Then we had the vertebrae right above my waistline was covered with cancer. Not all the other ones, but this one was covered. And then my hips, across my hips. And then the doctor had also mentioned my larynx. He said, "You got cancer everywhere." This was in Kennewick, because I was fixing to have a reconstructive surgery. And he had access to my medical records and was reading them to me. He was reading what other people had written that read it, you know. But the point is, then I moved to my sister's place for a little while, and I'm seeing an oncologist there. And I had a scan, and I wanted to know. I says, "Why are you not doing the blood test for my cancer markers? I want to know what my cancer markers are, because I was watching them go down." And she says, "I'm not taking that test. I don't need to take that test when there's no cancer activity." And I'm going, huh? Because she wasn't going to tell me that. If I hadn't have made her mad, she would have never told me that. So, how wonderful is that? That she doesn't want to take that test, doesn't need to take that test, because there's no cancer activity to warrant it. So I'm going, oh, wow. But she told me that she could see healing in my bones, and she could see healing in the fractures in the vertebrae. Well, no one told me there were fractures in the vertebrae, you know, but I just thought that was a lost cause. I mean, it was covered with cancer, and they had said that the only reason for radiation was to take care of pain, you know, at this point. So I'm just saying, things are much, much, much better than they were. So I'm excited about that. And I have prayed for miracles, and I believe in God and Jesus Christ, and I believe in miracles. So I'm going to continue not taking the ivermectin as much as I was, because I got carried away. And I believe that was in August of last year. I took it 14 days in a row, 1.5 mils each day. And then things started happening, and it scared me. I'm going, oh my. So I quit. And it was like, it would be like you would have the urge to go to the bathroom. Like maybe it might be diarrhea. But anyway, it wasn't poop that was coming out. It was something else. And I'm going, oh my. But it could have been worms. I mean, if they're going to die and come out, they're going to come out some way, unless they just dissolve in there, you know. So I really don't know. And then a little while ago, I did try going to TikTok, because a lady had told me I needed to do that. She said, there are people who need you. There are so many broken people in the world, and they need you. So I went and I tried it, and then I found all kinds of stuff I didn't want, and it was just massive. But I saw one of the people that had commented. I could tell there was someone in their family that had cancer. So I reached out to him because I wanted to tell them about ivermectin in case they didn't know. And I found out that her husband had cancer, and he had already been taking ivermectin over a year, but every single day he was taking 1 mil. And see, that's overdose, overdose, overdose. And she said he didn't have any side effects or ill effects from it. Now see, what I did not give me a stomach ache, did not make me sick. It was what was happening down below where I was going potty. And it just looked weird, and almost at one point in time it looked mucusy, like even a little bit of a color of green, like you'd find in an infection. But anyway, like I said, I stopped because I was scared, and my ex-husband had told me, he says, you know, you could have hurt your mucus lining in your intestines. So I'm going, oh my God. So anyway, I quit. And it was a good month before what was happening stopped. Okay. That was without taking it. But nevertheless, my numbers went down. And I'm still around. I had to rhyme. But I am. I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, sometimes my bones will do some popping, and I guess all of us do, but sometimes in my back, and it concerns me. But I am fixing in about 20 days to have a scan, and then we'll see what happens from that. But I do have faith in the ivermectin, especially after, that old man telling me to kill the parasites. That was his answer. And then the veterinarian about the dogs, and he was just treating them for worms. But as a side note, their cancer went away. I'm going, oh, wow. So, yeah, I am taking ivermectin. And if I do decide to quit the hormone therapy, which causes me to have hot flashes, which is causing me to shrivel up, and it's not just on the outside of your skin. Whatever's going on is going on in your organs too, so it's scary. What I've heard lately is that I have happy kidneys. They test me every month before they give me my treatment to see certain levels, to see if I can have my treatment. And it has to do with your kidneys. They're watching kidney and liver function. So I'm not really liking these treatments because I had a nurse that was in one of the treatment centers that told me, she dug the information out of the garbage, and she said that I might not want to take these treatments. She said, sure, they can get rid of the cancer fast, but there's other ways. And she said there are long-term side effects, meaning kidney failure. So that is one of the reasons they are doing all that testing. So I'm just saying, I've been on these treatments probably a good 2 years. And I asked the lady the other day, and I asked her, I says, so how long do I have to take these treatments? When can I go off of them? And she says, I don't remember anybody ever going off of them. But remember that first that first doctor had told me, yes, you can do this and get it under control and stop. Because that was what I was asking. I didn't want to do any of this mess. So we do need to be proactive with our care. And with your loved ones that have it, you might want to suggest it, or you might want to do some research and show them. But ivermectin is all over the internet, I'm sure. My cousin takes it in case, let's see, she takes it when she gets a virus, and she takes it sometimes just every so often. She said because she eats foods that might promote parasites. Okay? So, as far as I'm concerned, God is with me, God has helped me, and this ivermectin has helped a lot. I cannot give it all the credit, but I give it a lot of credit. So there's that. And no, I'm not a doctor, and I'm just telling what's happened to me and happened to other people that I know. So I don't know what stage I am anymore. I was a stage 4, but like I said, I was covered, and I'm not anymore. So they haven't told me a different stage, but I got a feeling it's not stage 4 anymore. Okay. Commentary, connoisseur. Thank you. Thank you, typical. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate that. I haven't been going to church. I've been a bad girl. I haven't gone to church in a long time because I tend to make people upset. When I was living with my Papa Bear, I would take him to church, and I would be there with him. So I was going to church, but it was more for him. But I do need to go. It's just I haven't wanted to give up my vices. But I am trying to give up one of them right now, just for a little while. I'm not going to give it up all the way. But in order to get a job where I'm at, you'd be drug tested. So I have to not test positive. And I think it's always a good idea to go without for a while. If I did go to church, it would be the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They used to be known as the Mormons, okay? But it was always the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We are nicknamed Mormons because of this book. Mormon was a person way back yonder who abridged records. He was an historian, and he abridged records. The records from Adam and Eve down. And he pulled out what he felt was most choice. Because, there were so many records. There was no way we could have them all. So there are several parts of the records that are pulled together and put into this book. And then he had his own little book in the back. Typical said hi. That other thing, hi, it just has some JF72. And Dustin, amen. And Danny Menger, I am 46. You're a very good age. I mean, I'm jealous. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Typical. No, I don't know that. I see the symbol on your icon, but do you know the show called Home Movies? I don't. Thank you, Cameron. I appreciate that. And you got a pretty smile. Alone. Aw. Yep. Free will. What's with the crying, Typical Pocket? I do my own, but I usually cry when I'm talking about Jesus. Okay, what is you? You're Scott? I don't believe that Jesus was black. And the part about him coming as a thief in the night means you're not going to be expecting him. When he comes in the sky with all his angels, ushering in the millennium, the second coming of Christ, it'll be like a thief in the night because we will not be expecting him. All the books that I know of Jesus, yes, I do. Thank you, Typical. I appreciate that. Iron, it is a gift. It is a gift, but you do have to accept. And that's a controversial thing. Bells said hi. Hi, it's Bells. Hi, Bells. Ha ha. Body Transformer 101. Yeah, I need my body transformed. Yesterday I found the most pure angelic man. And Oi said, brother, you are God. Okay. I told him, you are such a miracle. That's a heavy question there. Beretta. Well, I don't know your name. First of all, I don't know how to answer that question. There's too much. But I have had experiences where I felt him, and I've had miracles where I know that I was protected. And I go to church. When I do go to church, I get cold chills. I feel his spirit. I get cold chills. I have tears coming out my eyes, and I'm not what you would call a crier. The only time I cry usually is because of Jesus. I was brought up in the Church of Jesus Christ, okay? And so for 17 years, I had lots of learning going on. Plus, I took 4 years of seminary. And then all them years, we're praying a lot. Of course, I was a kid, but I always believed in God. And I always studied the scriptures, no matter if I was going to church or not. I just believe in Him. And then, when I was trying to decide what to do about my treatments for cancer, I was visited. Not the person of God, but the Spirit of God, like a fire is burning. I was on fire for more than a half an hour. It did not hurt, it did not burn, but I don't know how to explain it, but I was on fire. It was like I was being healed, like my whole body was on fire. And I wouldn't be in the place that I am if that doctor would have given me my hormone blockers like I asked. But he was mad. He was mad at me that I wouldn't take chemo and radiation. He was mad at me that I had the gall to seek out information from a naturopath. He was just pissed. And he wouldn't give me a hormone blocker. And the reason that I knew that was important is because I forced the issue. My naturopath said, I sent her all the records. She says, I see here where they suggested this test, which is an Onco-1 test, which means it's to do with the chances of your cancer coming back. Okay, they wouldn't do that test. And I asked him, I want that test. Why will you not do it? And he says, he kept telling me he's not going to do it. And I said, it's because you will be liable, right? And he says, that's exactly right. He was just mad. And he said, maybe your surgeon could do that test for you, because he was a doctor. And really, the surgeon is the one who should have done it. Because what it is they would take a sample out of the tumor that they took out of my body. They would take a sample of that tissue and run a test on it. She says, I know that they should still be able to do that test, even though it wasn't done right away, because part of my tissue should have been available in I want to say a petri dish, but whatever, the tissue was there to take the test. And so then I asked my surgeon to take that test, and he wasn't going to do it. And I told him, I said, the cancer doctor said to ask you to do it. And then he says, well, if the cancer doctor said to, then I'll do it. The cancer doctor had told me, for the size of your tumor and all the different things, he says, we don't do that test. He was refusing that test. Well, that test came back saying 0 chance of recurrence of my cancer. 9 years from now, a 9% chance of recurrence of my cancer. Third test, would there be any, I don't know the exact words, but would there be, would it do you any good to do chemotherapy? And it said no, 0. Okay, but then in small print it says if you take a cancer block, a hormone blocker, because my cancer wanted the hormones. Okay. So they were pissed at me for forcing the issue to get that test, and they really could have been liable. And especially now, because at that point in time, I did not have stage 4. I'm not sure if I had stage 2, I might have. My tumor was big. They took it out, took it down to my rib cage. I had a big old cave in my chest. But the point is, really, I don't know if I can see his face, but I don't know his name, and I don't know that I could find him. But he is the reason that I have this full-blown cancer, or have had, because it wouldn't have grown had I gotten my hormone blockers right then and there. But he wouldn't give them to me. He was too mad. Doctors are supposed to not do any harm. You want to tell me he didn't do some harm? Anyway, that's enough of that. I just know. I know. See, I also had a special blessing from my stake president who took care of my eyes after cataract surgery. Just ended up being my stake president. I hadn't been to church, but they were aware of me. And he showed me, I mean, the last day that I was seeing him, he's telling me all these different things that are ringing bells from my past, you know? And then he says, I know a lot about you. In other words, he knew when I was baptized, where, when, all the different things that I had been through in my life up to probably the time that I got married at 17. But he had a record of me right in front of his face on that computer. So I learned that he was my stake president. So then when I had this problem and I needed to make a decision as to what I was going to do, and I was supposed to go see the oncologist, and I'm going, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I need help to decide. And I just didn't feel good about the chemo and the radiation. And so his wife worked with him, and I called her and asked her if he would give, to find out if he would give me a blessing. And he did. He gave me a blessing, him and this other guy with him. They met me at the church before he had to go to work and before I had to go see that oncologist. And I had a blessing that was quite long. And there were times when he was silent. And it was like he was getting the lowdown on Lou, from up above. And the things that he said were just marvelous. And he did say that I was right to ask for help, because sometimes those treatments that you get at the hospital will backfire on you. So anyway, like I said, I just know that God has been with me. I have felt him. I felt him like a fire is burning. And I've also felt him with the cold chills and the tears streaming from nowhere. They're not from nowhere because I'm usually reading or singing about Jesus, or sharing with you guys. I'll have to stop what I'm doing and compose myself so I can talk. But anyway, I just know. Let me see. What do you want to see? Juan. I don't know how to say your name. I see the Summers part. You're Hindu. I believe in Hinduism. Well, I don't know anything about Hinduism. What I believe is that God is God, unless he's Satan. So it depends on who you're worshiping. A lot of places call him a different name. To me, he's Jesus. To some other people, he's Joshua. And I don't say it right, I'm sure. But anyway, if you believe in a God and it's not an idol, like a rod of, no, not a rod of iron, because that is the word of God. You know what I mean? Idol worshipers, like golden calves and different things like that. That is not God. So I don't have the time to learn another religion. I know mine is true. And I do think that other religions are worshiping the same God, they just have a different name. I don't know how to say your name. Last part of it is kid. Excuse me. Said hi, hi. What do you think about Hinduism? Like I said, I can't say because I don't know. Oh, I like your name, Majestic. Okay, love it. I'm glad you are doing well. Take care of yourself. That's from Yaddy. I know I'm probably not saying it right. And Kyle Geo says, guess what? I had a pet chicken egg that was going to hatch. It died. My chicken died. Oh, are you really telling the truth? No, I don't understand you saying that, but I'm not. Cancer. I'm taking it to kill worms, to kill parasites. I don't understand a lot about peptides, but I have taken those too. Thank you. Is that a legit question? I think you have to go through a doctor and they have to prescribe it. I take a pill every day called letrozole. It's a little teeny yellow pill. And that is supposed to stop me from producing my female hormones. And then every 28 days, I get it's one shot, but it's too much stuff, so there's two needles. I get a shot in each one of my butt cheeks. That is supposed to degrade the receptors so that whatever female hormones I do have is not going to get in. So don't produce it and not receive it. But it's the doctor who does that, okay? And I think it just seems to me that that's what they should do in the first place. If they know that you, and see, it would be because that test said hormone blockers. The score on that test that said it wouldn't come back. Well, that was if I was taking hormone blockers, which you get from the doctor, but my doctor wouldn't give it to me. Okay. And also, my naturopath said that she had products that would naturally do that. It's just that they were expensive. And she was telling me to get the hormone blockers from the doctor because the insurance would cover it. Okay. So, myself, instead of taking chemo and radiation, I'll be talking to my doctor about hormone therapy. What is the don't lie thing? About what? Midas. Who's Midas? Are you just talking about, okay, whatever. Shooting Ozempic. No, I don't do that. Do 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 do, hey, hey. You're so far away. Hey. Oh, is that why you want to get rid of your hormones? Why do you want to become a man? Why would you want to do that? I'm glad to be who I am. Okay, well, that's your opinion. I mean, I can do what I want to, right? That is the point. We should have a choice as to what we do. And I'm not telling you guys to do what I'm doing. I'm just giving you a little clue as to what I'm doing and what it's done for me. But you're silly. You are silly. Thank you. Thank you, Danny. And hi, Danny. I'm going to doctors, people. I have been going to doctors. You know what my doctor said to me? And not that long ago, she wouldn't give me ivermectin. So I went around a different way and got it. And I was talking to her the last visit we had, because I don't see her all the time, my oncologist. But she told me, she says, it's working. And I leaned over to her and I said, and I'm taking ivermectin too. She didn't know I was doing that. But I'm taking my hormone therapy, because see, what they told me is I'm terminal. There's no cure. In my mind's eye, I have a right to try whatever. And then, like I said, one of those nurses told me, she says, you might not want to do this because there's long-term side effects, as in kidney failure. And what happens when you have kidney failure? You're on dialysis. Do you know somebody on dialysis? I did, and she's dead now. So anyway, my point is, people, we're all going to die of something, aren't we? And I'm just prolonging my life. And my first doctor did tell me I could take it for a while and get it down and try to get it under control. It was out of control. And look what's happened, people. I was covered in cancer, and now I'm not. It could be the hormone therapy. It also could be both the hormone therapy and the ivermectin. I'm not hurting myself by taking it, but as far as I'm concerned, when you got stage 4 cancer, you don't have much to lose. She wouldn't give me a prescription for ivermectin because we're in America and because she's a cancer doctor, and she would be laughed at or she would be in trouble. Because, like I started to say, if I didn't finish it, the protocol is surgery, chemo, and radiation. And that's putting money in their pockets, people. It's not just for your good. Telling you. And another thing I'm telling you is they don't tell you that a lot of people don't make it past the first round of chemo. They die. And in the second round of chemo, more die. And also, your body learns how to get around that chemo, and then it doesn't work. So then they have to try something else, or then there's no anything that they can try. So you just do what you want to, and I will do what I want to. And I'm not telling any of you guys to do the same. Just telling you there's a shot. It's not nonsense. And here I am telling you also that this 20-year-old with leukemia who lives in Canada, his doctor gave him a prescription for ivermectin, but not in America. Okay, imagine that. You think about that. I do like my bandana. Thank you. Thank you very much, Danny. I don't know what you mean by that. My doctors have all been women. I prefer women doctors. So whenever possible, I have asked for women doctors. So for the guy who did my reconstructive surgery was a man. Tell me more, because I don't understand that. You said, what would you do if when you okay? So he said, yes, would go. Go where? When somebody is in remission or someone has beat cancer, they tell them, I guess, but they're not telling me that yet. And I heard the other day, it was like the numbers, mine are 125 and 138, and they're looking for something under 38. But I've gone down from 1400 to that 125 and 138. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm telling you, I have a choice. I'm watching my numbers and I'm trying, but I'm seriously thinking about stopping part of the treatments, if not all, because like I said, it's drying me up like a prune, which it's not just my face, it's my internal organs too, I'm sure, people. I don't believe you. Okay, first of all, Jerome or Jeremy is not a girl's name. If you definitely have that problem, you need to reach out to a female friend, but I'm not going to address it, okay? Charlie Horner, happy birthday. Lung cancer is pretty serious business. If you did that, thank you very much. Thank you. What is your name, Cartoon Cook? What is your actual real name? How old are you now? I can't tell what your name is, okay? And it hurts my head to try and think about it. Here's the deal. I said the other day, God once was a man, and he had a Father in heaven. And that person who was his Father in heaven also was a man once upon a time, and he had a Father in heaven. It is eternal, never ending. And I don't have all the answers. And Jesus Christ created this earth with the help of his Father in heaven. And I used to wonder and worry about all that stuff. And I prayed about it a lot. And I had a dream that I call a vision, where I received my tiny white stone. And that tiny white stone, when it touched my skin, I knew everything. And I am not kidding. My head was so full of knowledge, and I couldn't hold it. I shot straight up out of bed, out of a deep sleep. But the impressions were there, and the answer was there, meaning, don't worry about it. You do the best you can with this life you've been given. You learn as much as you can, because that's what you're going to take with you when you die, is your memories and your education, your learning. And in the end, I mean, we've got another world to go to live again. We have another step in our progression. And in the end, when it comes time, if you earn it, that little white stone, if you go into the celestial kingdom, you'll be given your little white stone. And it is what you will create your world with. I know that from my dream. It was massive. So you can sit there and worry about all that happened before, and you can have that take you away from where you should be going. Or you could just believe in Mary Lou. And what was it I was going to say? It disappeared. Anyway, the point is, don't expect to know everything. And don't get so caught up in the fact that you don't know everything. Once everything is said and done and over with, you still might not know everything. But the opportunity is there for you to become like your Father and Mother in heaven and be a God of your own world. But that little white stone will help you do it. You don't have to come up with it out of your brain. And I would just say, just like here on earth, and you got grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents, So the whole thing happens over and over and over again. And it is not for us to understand. That's what I say to you. And it gives me a headache even thinking about it. Okay. Okay, I got to be careful with my time here. That's quite the question. I don't think I can answer that. You've given me a worse headache. TS meant Aaron. Okay, well, look at me. Look what has happened to me with time. But that's what's going to happen to all of us. We start out as babies and we grow until we die. And if you are privileged to live long enough, you're going to get old and wrinkled. And you're going to go the way of the world. You're going to die. Unless Jesus comes first, which he could, because he's really close. The second coming of Jesus Christ is close. And he will come as a thief in the night, meaning you don't expect it. Okay. Okay, that's too much for my little brain, people. Okay. I'm doing good. I really am doing good. Um, I think I would be doing a lot worse. I've gotten a lot better than I was. And the tests prove it. Yes, I have cancer. But you know what? I think everybody does. Anymore, it just seems, I mean, it's running rampant. Do, 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 do. Yes, I'm old, person. What you got to say about that? At least I made it this far. Okay. Who are you talking to? I'm really sorry. All I can say is if you had a relationship with your grandmother and you loved her, then you're blessed. So many people do not have a relationship with their grandparents, nor do they have grandparents. So take the good and remember she's in a good place, and one day you'll see her again. Just think of her as like she's on a vacation somewhere, and you just won't see her until later down the road. Okay? Do, 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 do. Hi, Leah. Okay, that's too much scripture stuff for me. Can't say that I do. I don't know enough about Iraq to say if I love them or not. I'm too busy here in America. All right, Justin, you know that was silly. Hi, Candace. Whoops. Thank you. Ragnar. Hi. That's right, Jason. I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. And I did seek help in making that decision, and I felt good about that decision. But that doctor is responsible for my condition. because he should have gave me a hormone blocker like I asked for. I mean, they had already done, seems like they had done 2 surgeries, but they made a bloody fortune off of me. And he wouldn't give me a hormone blocker because I wouldn't do chemo and radiation. Because how dare I seek a natural path for some advice? Renee, is that how that is? Oskatina? Listen, I'm not good at pronouncing. I'm just going to say hi. And another hi. Last part of your name is Love. Starry Kids. Yes, I'm Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ. A Christian is someone who believes in Jesus Christ and tries to live their life like him. Hi, Mick. Thank you, BZ. I'm trying. Yeah, raising grandma. Not very fun. I know one thing, I'm sweating to death in here. I need to do something about it. Perceived. Do, 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 do. Do you have cancer? 4218. And what kind of cancer is it? I can understand the English. No, I didn't say that. All right. You know, I've been on here way a long time. I think it's time to go. Okay. So what's your name? If Jeremy is your dude's name, what is your name? And thank you, Justin. No, I don't know anything about it, so I won't be watching it. I like my headband. Thank you. Hamza, hi. Stainless steel jewelry is 100% waterproof and can be worn permanently. It's super cheap too. Your jewelry looks more expensive though. Now, this jewelry, this necklace came from Avon. It was not really expensive, and it was years ago when I sold Avon that I got it. All I see is it, so I can't, and I don't want to try to pronounce all that stuff. Thank you. I know that you guys are fibbing. You're just trying to play jokes on me. Oh, you think that's respect, do ya? I know my Bible pretty good. What's my favorite donut? That would be the, what is it called? I don't know what to say. It's made with either sour cream or cream cheese, one or the other is inside of it. Old fashioned, homemade. I don't know if homemade's in there. It's an old fashioned donut. I love it. It's crispy and glazed. it's not got icing all over it and all that stuff. I couldn't do that. I would be sick. And I would sure love to have my favorite donut, as a matter of fact. Hi, Granny. You're hi. Love for humanity. Now, I like that. I'm 71, people. Hi from Iran, or hi to Iran. Pray that I'll beat this cancer, that it'll go away. Thank you. My dad, when he died, was 89. I think my mother was 82. I'm just not positive. So I just hope that I will be healthy, keep my mind about me, and that I'll be strengthened because I am weak. My body is weaker than I would like it to be. Thank you. Conversation is whatever they're asking, but usually about Jesus, okay? Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I'm glad that you loved her enough to miss her. That's how you have to look at it. You know, my grandkids really don't even know me. I haven't been around until the last year, and even though I'm around, they're too busy. They have their own lives going on, you know? So it's just, they do not know me. Thank you, Brian. Or Bizan, TJ. Thank you. I'm not exactly a bro, but that'll work. I don't care. What's with angry faces? Against who? Oh, I know. I really should. I don't know if I could find that same doctor, but it should be a matter of record who he was. What I say to you is if you get on my channel, then go down to my post and scroll. You'll find me. There's one picture of me with a little girl, and I'm in an outfit. I'm in like a Halloween outfit. I'm 16 in that picture. Then there's some pictures of me. And you do need to touch on the pictures because some of the pictures cut off. So if you touch on the picture, it'll pull it up. Excuse me. So then there's some when I was like 28, 37. I mean, I consider that prime. And I liked how I looked. Hi. I don't know how to say your name. You know, someone else said that the other day. I do not know them. I need to look them up. Stray Kids? I don't. This is a big old long name. Says you was high. I'm doing Edward High. Uh, do, 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 do. I think that maybe you shouldn't even have that date if you got to worry about that. You know, in the old days, the man paid. In the new days or the middle days or whatever, women all worried about being equal. We are equal, equal of value, equal in the mind, not equal in the body. The man is stronger. But in my book, the man provides. In a lot of books, they don't, meaning a lot of people don't feel like the man should provide. So it's up to you and whoever you're going to date what you do. And if you're worried about money, maybe you could just go Dutch, where you pay for yours and she pays for hers. Maybe you shouldn't date. It's just a thought, okay, people? But I am not a feminist, and I'm not into male chauvinist pigs. Some of you will know what that means. These women who think they need to be equal in all ways to a man, I do believe we should be equal, but we can't do equal work. God didn't make us that way. But in the family unit, like I've talked about, male, female, and children, in my generation, and it's still in my church, so we just can't do it that way these days because we can't afford it. But the man would go out to work. The woman would stay home and take care of the family, provide a sanctuary for her husband and her children. Also be fulfilled in the fact that she is raising human beings. It's a very important job. But see, the women want to work, and what happened? We have unemployment out of control when it really should probably be the men working and the women helping to bring up those children. The man provides, and the woman provides nurture. Nurture. The woman, the mother, is the nurturer of the children and trying to have a sanctuary at home because the world is a horrible place. And by the time they've gone to school all day and the man's gone out and worked in the hard field, he wants to come home to something nice. Doesn't mean the woman does all the work at home either. Raising a family is hard, and the responsibilities at home should be shared. And our children should be brought up to know that they have responsibilities too. It's not all to be heaped on to the woman. You want to raise a good human being, you need to teach them that there's things they need to do, and they need to take care of themselves, and they need to help with the laundry and do the dishes and all the different things. But I also do not believe in homework. You know, send your child off to school and then they come home and they got all this homework to do too. No, there should be time that they can enjoy themselves and have special time with their parents without all that stress. I can't even, you people drive me crazy. The ones who think that our children need to go and be taught all day long and come home and be taught all night long too. You want to talk about some stress. And then also, if the kids have homework and they can't understand things, well, who are they going to help them? Their parents. And their parents don't even know what they're being taught anymore. It's out of control. We should be able to enjoy time together and not have all the stress. That's my word on that subject. Do, 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 hey, hey. Yeah, I'm sorry. When you're rude to me or you say something rude, I'm just hiding you. Hi from India. Hi. 71. I don't know the answer to that. Thank you. Yeah, there is no sound. So for me, people, I can't turn on the music. No, no. He's not higher value. You're equal. He might be the head of the house, and that's if you guys decide that, because in this day and time, who knows who the head of the house is? Most of the time, you're divorced and separated and living as a single parent, and you're doing everything. Things are not right these days. Head of the house, maybe the final say of some things, but you should consult with your wife. You don't just go out and make decisions for her. You understand? It's a partnership. And what she does is just as valuable, if not more valuable, than the person providing. She's providing you with a nice home. She's taking care of your children. She'd be making your meals. She'd be making love to you if you love her. But see, women don't want to make love to someone who's frickin' mean. In fact, they won't be around very long. Understand? You better treat your woman well. What happens? Here's what happens out in the world. There you are single. What are you doing? You're looking for the opposite sex, usually. Not everybody, but you're usually looking. You want. This is the norm. It's not really what's happening anymore, but the norm would be you want to be married. You want to have that love. And when you don't have it, when you separate from your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, what are you doing? You're out looking for it again. So then when you get married, ouch, and you have children, and you have this home, you want to treat that woman very well if you want her to stick around. If you want her to take care of you, you need to take care of her. And respect is a two-way street. Just saying, people. That is what happens. When you separate, you're out looking for it again. Take care of what you have. Love your woman, and the woman will love you. And that is if you actually spent the time to get to know her before you married her and before you had sex. Sex should not be in the picture until after you're married because it gets in the way of things. You're so busy doing that particular thing that you're not paying attention to the brain. You're not paying attention to the person that's going to be with you forever if you're lucky. Okay, I'll shut up on that. Okay, well, you're just a little lost, aren't you? You'll learn. You'll learn because your woman's not going to stick around. You have no clue all the things that the woman does in your relationship. Has nothing to do with the money. She is raising human beings. That's far more important than what you're doing at your job. All you're doing, you can go to work if you got a good job, go to work, come home, pay the bills, and you think you can sit on that damn couch and that's all you got to do. When a woman's work is never done. If you want her to love you, take care of you, make you feel good, you better be taking care of her. And that's what I'm saying, okay? And if you're not ready to do that, you need to stay out of it. Don't even get married. Don't become a father. Keep your little in your pants. Okay? That's what I got to say about that. Thank you, George. I have removed their comments. Yes, people have been rude. Whether it be stupid jokes. I've already removed them. I'm not sure exactly what they said, but it wasn't appropriate. I wasn't born yet. Do, 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 do. I can't pronounce the names, so I'm not going to, but I will say hi. What am I supposed to be joking about? Because I wasn't joking. Hi, Darren. Yeah, huh? We could rumble. Hi from India. Hi. Just can't pronounce that, people. I'm sorry, and my head does hurt. Well, it's just reality that the man goes to work and comes home and sits on his butt and doesn't do anything else. Is that reality? And then, does his wife stick around when he's rude and mean to her? No. She's going to be out trying to find something else because she will not be happy. Okay? No, I don't know how to play the games. Well, good. Are you the one doing that? I still don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that. Really? You think raising kids is easy? Are you a guy going to work, or are you the woman staying home? Or are you both working and the daycare is raising them? Because the man is providing. I didn't say it wasn't important what he's doing. He's supposed to be providing the house, the food. But who's shopping for that food? Who's making those meals? Who's changing diapers? Who's doing your laundry? And then you expect him to come to bed and do some other stuff. I mean, there's massive things going on that the female never, ever stops doing. But the man thinks he doesn't have to. He can go to work and come home and he's done his part. Just saying, I'm giving you some good advice. You take it or leave it, I don't care. I'm not the one going to be married to you, huh? Hi. What is geopolitics? Hello from America. You're in Bangladesh? But hi. I just don't know how to say the names. Your girlfriend is from America? Cool. Well, I take it you mean what advice someone else has given me. I don't know that they have. Hi, River. Isn't that about the truth? I don't know how to answer that question. I think that we are all children of God and we're all equally special. Okay? And it takes both of them to produce a child, much less raise one. Thank you, Zoe. That is the most important thing, that you're a Christian. 29 is a good age. I know unemployed is hard, but when you are employed, try to do something that you like doing. Try to figure out what it is that you want to do. They say if you like what you do, you never work a day in your life. But if you don't like what you're doing, you'll be miserable. Whatever. Take it for whatever. 71. Whatever. Whatever you think, babe. Hi. Hi, people. It would seem like it is a debate. That's right. Jesus is Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I don't know what that means, but I tell you what, I love dancing. And I love a big, beautiful ballroom and some good music and a partner that I can dance with. Okay, I can understand that, because if you're not working, you have no money. That would make me miserable. And I'm not working, and I have no money, and so I am miserable, I guess. What I'm telling you, people, try to stop with your little technicalities. If you want a great life with a woman, if you're a man, and vice versa, you love each other, you respect each other. But in the family, when you're in the family way, someone needs to be home with those children. They should not be left alone to their own devices. Sometimes we have to work. There's no choice because of the cost of living. But then there are times when people make a choice to go to work because they just want the money or some luxury items. But if they're leaving their children unattended, and here's another thing, not even just that, there's so many things that go on at home that need someone to do it. And it's not right that just one person does it. But I'm saying, if the woman is at home and she is providing you with a lovely home, food to eat, she's gone and done the grocery shopping. You might have got the money, but she has taken and gone grocery shopping and come home and cooked it, and she's taking care of your children. She's doing the laundry, making the beds, cleaning up the house. She's providing for you and your children. I will not say that one is more important than the other, but like I said, just because you go to work doesn't mean that you don't have things to do when you come home. And you better love your woman, which means take care of her, or she will leave you. That's the way it is, people. So you want someone to stick around, you better love them, which means you need to treat them with respect and love. You need to care for them. You need to see, what can I do to help you? Whatever. No, I need to look up Stray Kids. I don't know them. The time right now is 5:34. For the most part, it's been good. I've had my bad times. How old are you and what are you down about? And I'm down too, you know. I'm not always a happy camper. But like I have said, what I want to impart on you people is that you are of great worth to your father and mother in heaven. And this life is but a stopping place. You came from somewhere else, and you're going to leave here and go somewhere else. You need to learn as much as you can while you're here. And I was up on a mountain. I was up on a mountain living for, we'll say, a year. I didn't have a telephone. I didn't have a television. I didn't have books, and I didn't have friends coming by all the time. I mean, I had some show up every once in a while, but I didn't have a phone. I would have to go up to the store to use the phone. I'm pretty sure that's how that worked. But my point was, I had this insatiable urge. I needed to learn. I needed to learn, and the only thing I had was my scriptures. I read the New Testament mostly, but I did read my scriptures a lot. I learned a lot while I was up on that mountain. So I'm just saying, you need to find something that makes you happy. And if you have the ability, if you have some money that you can pay, you could go take classes. I have joined the Y, but I haven't gone. I need to do that because they've got a swim. They got 3 swimming pools, and they got a jacuzzi and a steam room and a this and that and the other thing, plus exercise equipment. Anyway, here is some advice. Find out what it is you want to do, that you like to do. And then if you go do it, you're going to find other people there doing it, and you will make friends. And sometimes it's best not to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Love yourself. Improve on your mind. And I need to improve on my body. But make yourself the best you can be. And next thing you know, if you don't have someone already, you will have met someone. that likes to do the same things you do. And they will have learned you and you've learned them and you've formed a relationship, which could just be a friendship. But anyway, that's my advice. Carbon cat bomb backlit. I try not to think about it. Death. I fear leaving too soon before I get to do what I need to do, because I've got somebody that I want to be with forever. So I fear that I might die before that happens. I'm not in control of some things in my life, and it does make me sad. But all I can do is the best I can do with myself to make me the best I can be. So, whether it be reading books, I'm reading the scriptures, I'm doing it on my channel because I feel I can read it to me and to you guys too. But like I said, that app, Gospel Library, is a free app and it will read all those scriptures to you. I mean, how wonderful is that? Because it'll be a lot easier to understand. Because they won't be stumbling over the words like I do. But I do give commentary. Okay. So yeah, I would say I fear death. And I'm not to that point unless it just comes like a thief in the night, like when Jesus comes the second time. I don't feel like I'm dying, but that doesn't mean I'm not. I don't, I think. That you don't fear death? Okay. Whoops. I don't understand that. Weasel Farms, or where it's at. Why don't you have anything to live for? Are you ready to meet your maker? Because that's what's going to happen when you die. You're going back to that God who gave you life. The Quran. I'm so busy trying to read what I got. But it would be interesting. Is it in English? Hi. No, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. No, I'm not Catholic. I belong to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Used to be referred to as the Mormons. I don't know what you mean either, honey, unless you're asking what my channel is about. It's about Jesus. Okay, well, my head's starting to hurt pretty bad, guys. I think I'm going to have to get off here. Okay, hope slays. You want to tell me more about what it is that you want to know? Or do you want me to hide you? Okay, well, I can just see that I need to. Do, 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 hey, yeah, hey. All right, that's a hard one to answer. He was part of the deal, betraying Jesus, selling him for the money. And I didn't read it, I listened to it, but there's a series, a 3-book series called The Kingdom and the Crown. And it doesn't just talk about, it's about Jesus, and it's about all that went on. And he has a take on Judas, like Judas might have thought he was doing Jesus a favor, not really selling him. But then Judas killed himself because of what he did. So I don't know how to answer that question, okay? There's a lot of things that I don't know how to answer. So just remember, I don't know everything. And it does seem like he had a part to play. But he also killed himself in that field, Potter's field. So in that series of books, that's such a wonderful. It's by Gerald Lund, and he puts you right there with Jesus and all the people around him. There's a story. Like, one of the things I never thought about was the fact that those people who were in power didn't want Jesus to come and take their power away. And they were the ones always out there causing Jesus trouble. And in the end, when Jesus was taken, it was their fault. And I have to remember what I'm saying, but these people who cried, "Free Barabbas, crucify Jesus," they were paid. These people needed money, and they were paid to go do that. It wasn't all the people who loved Jesus that did that. They didn't turn their back on him. These people who were in power, the Sadducees and the Pharisees, didn't want to lose their power. Okay. I'm going to go past that, okay? Hopefully I answered it some. Hi, Tony. You know what? That's not true. But here's the deal. The 12 tribes of Israel, they're not all Jews, I don't think. The 12 tribes of Israel, I am from Ephraim. The blood of Ephraim runs through my veins. And I found that out in a patriarchal blessing that I had when I was 16. Okay? But I'm not against the Jews. You know, Jesus said he came unto his own and his own received him not. So he went out and he taught the Gentiles. And in the end, which is where we're at now, the whole earth will be blessed through the seed of Abraham. There was a covenant made with Abraham, and that's what it was saying. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to teach however it is received. I'm just trying to show where you can go look and learn for yourself. So put that Gospel Library app on your device, and you have all the scriptures at your fingertips. And like I said, if you're not a good reader, it'll read it to you, and you can follow along as it's being read. You can learn all that you need to learn. And the biggest thing you need to learn is to find Jesus Christ. Love Jesus Christ. Stand for Jesus Christ. Satan's going to be there to battle with you. That's what it's all about. What will you do? Will you serve God or not? Okay. I'm a child of God is who I are. It's all a simulation. I think you were here the other day. Okay. Well, hopefully it was translated correctly. It's kind of like the Bible. I believe in the Bible as far as it is translated correctly. I really don't need to ask questions, people. I feel like I have the answers. Hi, Amelia. Thank you, hon. Thank you for praying for me. I'm doing really good. Except for my head hurts. I need to go take something for my headache, and I do need to get off of here. Okay. Please don't come to my channel again. Tell your grandpa hi. It doesn't take teeth to read, people. It takes a brain. And no, I don't have teeth. I need to go get something to eat. Da, 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 da. Thank you, Flynn. Well, I can tell that that's probably not a question. That's probably something for trouble. You think? Who is best in God's eyes and who will win? That says haven. You might have meant heaven. Christians, Catholics, Mormons, or Jews. Who should I go with? Question mark. I leave these glasses on so I can read. Okay, what I will say it again. The true church of Jesus Christ is on the face of the earth today. It is called the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And in the past, people have referred to us as Mormons. That's where the true church is. The truth is in that church. But God loves us all, everyone. It's the best I can say for you. A lot of people, I've known a lot of Catholics, and they do not know what they believe. And I've been to quinceañeras. I don't know what those things are, but I went to a thing. I wish I could say the word. But anyway, it was in another language. It wasn't even in English, so I couldn't understand a thing of it. But the point is, if that's a serious question, I mean, literally a serious question, I've told you what to do. Put that app on your device and read the Book of Mormon. Read the Book of Mormon. And by the time you've read the whole thing, you will know. I don't think you're going to have to read the whole thing. You will know what you need to do and where the truth lies. You need to join the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You need to be baptized. You need to receive the gift of the Holy Ghost. You need to study. You will continually study. In other words, you will learn and learn and learn, and there'll be more to learn. But like I read the other day, Jesus said, if the church is named for Moses, then it's Moses's church. If the church is named for me, then it will bear my name. So that should tell you something, right? Okay. Do, 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 do. I take it that's a serious question too. Jesus Christ came to this earth. God. He's Jehovah. He came to this earth, set up his church, taught the people, gave the power to the apostles. People were baptized, and those people who were baptized were called saints. So in this day and time, when you're being baptized into the church, you're called Latter-day Saints. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because we're in the last days, people. Okay, let me see if I can read that again. How do you get saved? So Jesus came to atone for your sins. He bled from every pore, taking on your, I wanted to say anxiety, but taking on your pain and your struggle and your sins. And there was a reason for it. I never could understand it, and I still don't know that I do well enough, but there's this thing called justice. Okay, so here's justice in this hand. And there's another thing called mercy. So over here is mercy. And when you sin, Jesus Christ paid for your sins, but only if you accept him. Okay, so the atonement is what Jesus did when he hung on the cross and he bled in the Garden of Gethsemane. He was paying justice for your sins. But the only way mercy can come into play is if you are penitent, meaning you need to repent. You need to feel remorse. You need to know you did something wrong, and then you need to feel sorry for it. And then you need to maybe confess it to the Lord. It does say you need to confess it. And some of us think we got to go to the bishop or we got to go to the priest or whatever. But I say, realize you did something wrong, feel bad about it, tell the Lord about it, ask for forgiveness, because basically He is the one who atoned for you. But it does say that only the truly penitent will be forgiven, or mercy can take you away from justice, because justice wants to be paid. Justice wants to be paid for your sins, okay? So if you don't accept Jesus Christ and you are not sorry and you don't repent, well then, hey, you're going to pay justice for your sins. I don't know if that made any sense to you. I tried. So that's the part about being saved. You have to repent and you have to join the church. You have to be baptized into the church. And then you'll receive the gift of the Holy Ghost, which is the laying on of hands on your head. I don't know if she's talking to me or the dog. I have been on here way too long. I need to get off. It's a good question, though. So, Jesus came into this world to die for us. It was the plan. My battery's almost dead too. So it was the plan. So that's how you get saved. I mean, Jesus Christ died for us, and He picked up His body. He was resurrected. And basically, the way I understand it is that gave it to all of us. But I read the other day that you do have to be penitent. So I would do some discovery. And seriously, if you guys are seriously looking for the true Church of Jesus Christ, then I've told you where it is. And if you go on Safari or Google, you can ask, where is the closest Latter-day Saint church to me? And it'll tell you. And then you go. You go, you seek out the bishop. You introduce yourself. You tell them you want to learn. And the way will be provided. Those missionaries out there teaching, that's what they're doing. They're trying to let you know the good word of God. And they're giving 2 years of their life. And they're paying for it. They've been saving up money since they were kids for their mission fund. Anyway, I do need to go. Let's see. Okay, I do read the Bible, people. I'm 71. Mormon from France. Hi. Charlie, hi. Thank you. I like my headband too. Okay, hi. How old are you? 71. No teeth. I just don't understand your words, but yes, I'm a Mormon. No, this is my daughter's house, and I'm not going to do a tour of it. Hi, Omar. Hi, song lover. Thank you. I believe, baby, that you chose to come here, and it is not something wrong. You're here to grow. And if you didn't come here, you wouldn't have that opportunity. You would be with Satan. You wouldn't have a body. Just saying. We came here for a reason, and that is to achieve and to grow and to go back to God. And maybe one day have our own worlds. Hello, Paul. Oh, you want a shout out. That's what you're saying. Hi, River. Are you talking about baptism for the dead? I bet that's what you're talking about. See, the thing is, the work has to be done here on earth. And so they're dead. And they're over there waiting. And maybe they accept the gospel, but they can't baptize themselves. So, yes, when they are dead, we do baptisms for the dead. And it is predicated upon if they choose. They don't have to accept it, but at least the work has been done. That is what that's all about, okay? Let's see what this says. Do, 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 do. Hello, Paul. I really don't know what that means, but I do need some muscle. Hi, Jimmy Green. Okay, I reached the end, and it is after 6, and I think I need to get off of here. So, peace be unto you people. And I would suggest if you wanted to, you could look at some of my videos. You'll get a whole lot of words from Lou. Thank you. Okay. Well, I wasn't going to do a live at all anyway, so we've done good because I've been on here 224 minutes. That's a lot. So, and I didn't say any bad words. So, yesterday I did, and I deleted that whole live. I really hated to, but I felt like I really should, so I did. So, those of you who got to hear it, you did good. All right, people. I love you. No one's better than the other, male or female. We are all children of God, and He loves us, and our mother loves us too, people. I need to go get some food. I'm doing good. You better make that better. So I don't think so. Angie, what are you trying to say, baby? Anyway, I'm just saying, you guys take care. I'll be back. My phone's about to die, and I need to go eat before I die. Take care.